There are a few yoga poses that are especially beneficial for those with bone loss or osteoporosis. Today, I'll guide you through a short standing yoga practice that includes 3 of those specific yoga poses. All you need is a sturdy chair. Let's go. Begin standing in front of your chair with the short side of the chair facing you. Take your hands on your torso in any way that feels good, maybe one hand on the heart, one on the low belly. And take a moment to breathe here. Just find a bit of stillness before we start to move. Taking our time with our practice. Now, when we are practicing yoga for osteoporosis, we want to keep 3 things in mind: resistance, posture, and balance. So everything we do in our yoga practice should include at least one of those elements. And these 3 poses today, this practice today, will include all 3. Let's take one more breath in together, slowly breathing in, pausing at the top of our inhale, and then let it go with a sigh. Release your hands down by your side. Now we'll hip hinge forward. So we're keeping a nice long spine, maybe a little bend at the knees, and then release your hands down to the chair. So you're in a tabletop position. Feet are about a foot or 2 back away from your chair, and you have a nice, strong, supported long back. Okay, now this first pose is called spinal balance or balancing table. And you can do this on the floor as well. And that's how I teach it sometimes, but I like it standing for bone density because you get that extra element of lower body strength and balance, okay? So the important thing is to keep your spine long always, and then begin to kick your left leg up behind you. That leg is straight. Start it low and start with keeping a little bend in your right knee. Think of squeezing the left glute, the glute of the lifted leg, okay? Really squeeze that muscle to lift the leg. Now we're not forcing it higher than our spine can handle. Make sure your back feels good here. Try to square your hips if you can. And then this is a great place to stay and practice, okay? And just play and explore and breathe and see how this feels. If you want a little more, you can extend your right arm, the opposite arm, out past your ear, thumb up, and get really long. We're reaching through the fingertips and kicking through that back foot. Everything is strong and supported here. So instead of sinking down into the joints, hanging out, we're really lifting up out of the floor, fighting gravity. Keep the back of your neck long. It's like you're looking straight down to the chair, and breathe. So we'll focus on long holds in today's practice. We'll shoot for at least 30 seconds of each pose because that's what's been proven to build bone, these longer holds of the poses. Strength building. Take one more breath in here and a breath out as everything comes back down. You can kind of shake out your legs a little bit. Good. If you need to give your wrists a break, you can circle through your wrists before we come to the other side. And make sure you are still breathing smoothly. And then when you're ready, we'll hinge forward for the other side. And then we'll kick the right leg up this time, or whichever one you didn't do last time. Little bend in that standing leg, and then square your hips. Start low and just make sure everything feels good in your body and your back. Bring awareness to your right glute, the rear end, and then lift that leg up a little higher using that muscle if you can. Breathe here first. Everything is strong. Breath is smooth. And then maybe we extend our left arm out past the ear, thumb up. Maybe that back leg kicks up a little higher, and we're fighting gravity. We're lifting up, not sinking down into the joints. Stay here, breathe, and feel this in your body. On your next exhale, everything comes back down to the chair. Shake it out. And then while we're here, just take a stretch back from the chair. So step your feet back, bend your knees generously, and pull back from the chair. A little variation of downward facing dog, standing variation. Looking straight down to the floor. Again, our spine is long. This is what we're really using this pose to prioritize a lengthening of the spine. So really press your hips back as you pull the chair. From here, to come back up slowly, walk back up to your tabletop, ground through your feet, press up to stand, arms out and up, sweeping up to the sky, and then bring your hands down to heart center. Soften your shoulders, check in with your breath. Okay, pose number 2, flip the chair around so the tall side is facing you. This will just be a little support for balance. If you need more support for balance to feel safe, put another chair on the other side of you or use a wall, whatever works for you, okay? Tree pose, classic balancing posture. So you can keep one hand on the chair and one hand on your heart, or you can bring both hands together in front of your heart if you know your balance is pretty good or you want to challenge yourself. Okay, find your focus. You want to look straight ahead and find a gaze point that's not moving. All right, so find your point, find your drishti, shift your weight over to one foot, either foot, doesn't matter. Lift the other foot and open the hip. So you're moving that knee outward, opening the hip, and plant the sole of your foot anywhere you would like on the leg. So I like to keep it a little low, like right above the ankle. See what works for you. If this is just not doable for you today, you can leave the ball of the foot down on the floor and press the heel of your foot into the ankle instead. That gives you a little more stability to work with. Otherwise, the entire sole of the foot is lifted up. Now, draw into the center line. That's really important when we're practicing for bone density. Think of our hip muscles hugging inward and all of our muscles hugging into the bones. Even your upper body, even your shoulders, really press your hands into one another. And then there's another concept called root to rise that's also very important here. So we are pressing our foot, our standing foot, down in order to feel everything else lift. We're getting space in our spine for our posture. We're getting strength down in our joints. Stay here and breathe. We've probably already been here for 30 seconds, but we'll hold it just a little longer. Take one more breath in, breath out as the foot comes down. Take a moment in stillness before you move and just notice the after effects of that in your body, of that pose in your body. And then you can shake out any tension that crept up. If your feet and ankles need a little love, give them that. Give them some movement. And then we'll go right to the other side. So hands back to the heart, or one on the chair, one on your heart. If you're holding onto the chair and the other hand's on your chest, use this hand as a reminder to keep the chest lifted. So I see this a lot in my students, right? This kind of collapsing in with the upper body and the shoulders. And especially for osteoporosis, we want to lengthen and fight that collapsing. We want a lot of opening and space. Think opening and space. Okay, other side. If you're already balancing, that's fantastic. We already did that leg. Let's do the inside leg. So whichever foot you didn't do, open the hip, plant the sole of the foot anywhere you like, and then take your hands to your heart and breathe. We're pressing our foot into the leg and the leg back into the foot. Feel that engagement, feel that strength, and then root to rise. Breathe smoothly. We'll be here for a few breaths. I always tell my students, wobbling is a good thing. That's our body trying to figure out how to support us, how to hold us up. So don't beat yourself up if you're really wobbly. Okay, take one more breath in here. And a breath out as the foot comes down. Take a moment of pause. And then if you need to shake out any joints, move through any stiffness, go ahead. One last posture today for bone building. This is a nice yoga squat called goddess squat. So bring your feet pretty far apart, a little wider than hip distance, and your toes are turned out, heels in. Just feel the tripod of each foot grounded down into the floor. Feel the back of your neck lengthening, little tuck of the chin. We're gonna keep that the whole time instead of like this. We want this, the tuck of the chin, the long back of the neck, okay? And then take your arms into cactus shape, all right? This is a goalpost position, spreading your fingers wide and hugging muscle into bone. So no floppy arms, right? And we're keeping our shoulders open. So if your hands start to turn in like this means we're internally rotating our shoulders, which is that sloping forward shoulder. So try to keep them nice and open and the elbows lifted. Okay, breathe here first. And then on your next exhale, start to bend your knees and sit down into a squat. We're going to keep this light to begin. Press your feet actively down into the floor and straighten the legs. And the whole time our arms are strong. Let's come back into it and straighten the legs. Good. Now every time we come down, be aware that your knees aren't collapsing in. We're guiding them outward towards the pinky toe, the little toe side of each foot. And I want you to check in that your knees feel good here. We don't want to go past the point where our knees feel good. Avoiding any pain, muscular discomfort, now that's okay. We want to challenge our body to build strength. When we build muscular strength, we build bone strength because the muscles pull on the bones. Okay, next time you come down, find a depth of this squat, of this position that you can hold for 30 seconds or so. And we'll just connect with the breath. Feel every sensation in your body. Maybe you can feel or sense your heartbeat. This posture has it all. It has a little bit of balance because you're working on that lower body strength and keeping the weight evenly shifted on your feet. It has resistance, strong strength building, and we're working on posture with that upper body, the chin tuck, the strong cactus arms, and the open shoulders. So hold and breathe and just know that you are doing something beneficial for your body when it gets challenging. Take one more breath in here. And then breath out, straighten your legs, release your arms, and circle your shoulders back. Soften your shoulders down, turn your head side to side, releasing any tension that crept up in the neck and shoulders. And then keeping your feet wide, bring your hands to your hips and make big old hip circles here. Just slowing everything down. When we are challenging our body, we're activating our nervous system and working really hard. So we want to make sure that we take a moment at the end of every practice to come back down, to find a place of rest and relaxation. Other direction with your hip circles. Intentionally slowing your breath down as well. And then come back to center. You can toe heel your feet in. Let's end how we started with our hands on our body, just checking in with how we're feeling and noticing the effects of your practice today. Now, these are the 3 poses that I encourage you to do as often as you can for osteoporosis. There are also some poses that should be avoided, and I did a video on this already, so I will post the link somewhere up there. You can click on it. And if you enjoyed this yoga practice and are looking to continue your yoga journey with osteoporosis, you would love my Yoga for Strong Bones bundle. It's $29 and it includes a guided yoga practice with 12 yoga poses that have been proven to reverse bone loss and be safe for those with osteoporosis. It has a printout of those 12 poses as well, so you can just put it right by your yoga mat and practice. And it includes a short lesson about your spine and the importance of posture with a postural assessment so you can see where you're at. So if you're interested in signing up for that, go to strongbonesbundle.com or click the link down in the description. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time.